some noise. I love doing that. The best part of my job.
All right, well, the bans are up. Nomad is first. Nomad incredibly useful for this map. I talked about how it's a little bit smaller than our previous one, and indeed, that means Nomad is very effective at blocking off the staircases or the usual rotation points to prevent the defenders from having a successful potential late round flank. No longer, obviously, is that going to be the case. Dokkaebi, just a carryover from map number 1.
Hey, it's Mira. All right, ladies and gentlemen, everybody at once, are you ready? Wait for the countdown, all right? Oh, come on. They're not picking it. Come on. Hey! I don't know why they got Milos out of here. I don't know what he did, but that's a little unfortunate. I really do like the pickup, though. On a map like Border, very important operator. He's got Valkyrie cameras that can't be destroyed unless you have an explosive. Pretty damn good at the end of the day, I would say. But now that we're into it, all the fun, ladies and gents, well, that's out the window. It's time for North America to root for OXG and W7M to try and tear it away. Let's get into round 1.
Fresh made some great points on the desk. Very definitive ones at that. W7M have the appearance of a near perfect team right now. Basically 0 weaknesses and essentially perfect adaptation to nearly every single situation that was thrown at them back on the first map. Oxygen will have to put everything on the table to try and beat such a power package as that. As Stokes mentioned, though, even if things do go awry throughout the rest of this series for Oxygen, it will only drop them down to the lower bracket finals. They'll have to face off against either G2 or Astralis, pending the result of that game tomorrow morning.
Yes, indeed. Things can only go so wrong for Oxygen here, John. It's not the end of the road for them, just another chapter in the story. We'll see what Border has to offer here. Is it well written? Well, we'll just have to find out. As for Border as a map, though, is actually our only map in the entirety of Rainbow Six Siege competitive map pool at the current moment that is a dead heat, 50% defensive win rate. It means both sides of this coin have got to have some gusto, have got to have some action from these teams. W7M will be on the receiving end of things this time around as Oxygen will be trying to set a precedent on their offensive side.
W7M starting out with the usual expected sight upstairs here inside of lockers. Immediately Noors going for the clear downstairs. We do have any rotation points established there for W7M. Oxygen will try to bleed them down into it. The Noors will execute them. He's got the nades from down below as well, but doesn't have any good intel to play into just yet, so still waiting himself back. Even has that pre-placed drone a little bit further ahead too to watch out for those flanks ahead of time. And Vert is going to score first elsewhere as he holds the south main doorway. He's able to catch Herds in a transition, knocking him out to start out the game.
This is a huge issue for W7M. This position has been so pivotal throughout all of our borders so far throughout this entire tournament. If you're able to get control of CCTV, well, you practically have free reign over your next step into Armory. Some fantastic shots of pre-fire actually there from Vert. Ill-advised cross from the W7M member, and now they're trying to get it back in blood. It'll be Sweater to go down first to JV92.
Perfect movement there from JV92. Just barely steps out of the way from the clear from Sweater. At least is able to get his 1-for-1 on this round. It's not the end of the world just yet here for Oxygen, but certainly the beginning of a slowdown that they'll have to try and work themselves past. This has already tripped them up on multiple rounds back on map number 1. W7M can deploy themselves in a very similar pattern here on Border as well, so they can play this out in the same way to try and get back that control. Norris not spotting any rotations from down below, backs up, regroups. Is the entire team going to try to push west side now?
Well, that key position down there, John, usually they try and build the frag grenades into the position inside of CCTV, but since they're already dead, they don't need Newers down there anymore. They're going to rotate him back upstairs and try and get him in front of this assault. Somebody has got to kill somebody on W7M. Finally, it'll be Foxe. We got to get some movement here, some action out of North America. There's a minute remaining. We're looking for the feistiness. Julio will be holding the cross here for the rotation out of CCTV. Still Volps in the backline as well. He'll be inside of the B bomb site right behind the bomb chassis. Oxygen still have some things to suss out. A lot of drones down. It's up to Newers to try and assist them with this.
Perfect shots coming in there from JV92. He knew it was a high-risk peak, and unfortunately finally pays the price for it when he goes for the third kill. But taking 2 with him is a massive advantage considering that Oxygen has a huge amount of hesitation following up that trade. And already another member of the W7M defense has taken up the mantle.
Oh.
Light coming in here. It's going to lead to blows immediately. Smart play, however, from Noors. Backs away from the situation, but still can't win it. Julio is given a second chance now to claim another kill. Over to the secondary weapon. It's not workable in the fight, though. Dream wins it out. Now everything falls to Volps with the M590. Nitro out. Fortunately gonna get caught in the middle of that spray. Dream will be able to put the plant down onto the ground as well. The red dot gives him away as he rounds the corner, so Foxay shuts it down, and Oxygen get onto the board first.
A dead heat in this first round between these two. I mean, you just got to think about it. If Azami stays alive there without that random spray from Vert, that's anybody's round. This border is going to be so back and forth. Vertical, such a positive boon off rip. He didn't even know that he was going to get that. He was just simply breaking down a door. Ends up killing one of the W7M members, but a beautiful round there from Oxygen. They don't overplay their hand, John. They use the maximum potential of that clock. Try and clear things out, apply the pressure to W7M across all of these annexes, and it works out for him.
So one round on the board, but we saw similar things back over on border, of course. Let's see if they can keep that momentum rolling, as W7M will move to a new site now, back down on the first floor. It'll be a teller's hold for them here on round number 2, as they attempt to get their own first round. Start this comeback to quickly try and re-ascertain control of the overall series here. A few operator changes are going to come along with that, namely the castle, to try and block off the initial clear from Oxygen. Obviously, they will have the utility to respond to that one. Only a little bit late on it, though, using primarily their nades to try and get rid of these castle barricades. So that could create a few problems later on in the round if they end up needing to get past one of them and they haven't already cleared it in advance.
Yep. No sledge, no ranged soft destruction either, so it's going to be either the frag grenades or... I mean, Foxay, I do believe, will have a secondary Gone 6 on him, so he can also use that. And actually, so will Vertical, now that I think about it. It's something you always got to remember in that back pocket. Not really exactly shown off to us on the spectator HUD, but yeah, more than likely have Gones for those. So we'll just have to see. Actually, one of the Gones going off right there. Nice little audio cue. So for Oxygen, they're going to be beginning things on the southern side yet again here and start this top clear, pushing over towards the north. They have to worry about a lot of these balcony positions that a plethora of people have been using for the entirety of this land. Haven't had too many people at the bottom of square, so this might be a new look here from Newers. Have the castle in play. JB92 pre-fires, tags Newers actually, and I love this castle barricade setup too. Nice little transition back in a site that he can play off of.
Gives him quite a bit of play capability, especially around the east staircase here. Can even pretty freely wrap himself up those stairs because of where the castle barricade is positioned as well. So indeed, this is going to be quite potent for W7M and will certainly create some issues for Oxygen to work past here. Not going to have an easy solution for this. Once they get more established control over towards East Main, probably going to make the whole bit of a moot point, as he won't be able to watch his back as clearly as he would need to. But for the time being, Oxygen not too worried about that one. When you consider that we do have keys here playing on the inside of it. He'll get the shutdown. He'll be shut down by Vertical. Vertical will even look for a second one too. Herds commits to the top of East Main now. Tries to take the fight, get the trade against his opponent. Nearly has the timing down there. Vertical losing another sliver of his own health, but he'll back away from it, trying to make it a bit harder for the defenders. And ultimately call for a little bit of a personal timeout on this play.
Oh my. The castle, he's right under it. Oh, Newers has been cut off. The audio not clean on the crouch walking castle. JB92, he slips through, circumnavigates all the angles. No one aware of the player at the bottom of square. Thought he was still just going to reside inside of sight, but he's cut him off. Foxay will go down too. W7M, although Oxygen have finally gotten their second round in the series, they are not getting off of this gas. They will not go quietly to map 3. JB92 holding on to things. They know this player still has to be around square, but he's playing it perfectly, John. His positioning around these half walls make it so difficult. Vertical's finally found him. Somebody's got to assist. They'll finally shut him down, but they have to motion towards sight.
The drop is seen as well by Sweater. Takes him a moment to recapture his target, but he does indeed find it. Volp's now down. The plant going in for Dream as well. And Julio caught in the midst of the rotate. Herds, the only one able to make an impact. Sweater, in the meanwhile, already making his with a triple kill on this round. Herds, however, he's still in the fight as well. Reducing it down to a 1v1. Has the intel here to play out into it. Tries to go for the peek, but exposes himself on the way back. Vertical takes it instead. That's Oxygen, now with a second round in their pocket.
Vertical existed on this balcony as well as the outside portion of the exact same area for the entire map, and W7M could not deal with him. Fantastic positioning from him. What a play. Indomitable. Absolutely dominant there. W7M can't do a single thing about it. And this is just practically going to be a highlight reel of Vert constantly being able to find this stalwart position over and over again. JV92 getting a lot done in that round, but when it came down to a square play, it was the combo action of all of OXG building off of what we saw from Vert earlier. Really able to translate that into a site attack for the Aegis. Very well done. That's 2 rounds here on Border.
Border continuing to look promising for OXG. And a great rebound being seen from them after it really looked like W7M had OXG's number outright in map number 1. Not so much the case here as we move into new territory. And things look a heck of a lot more promising now for the North American squad as we go deeper into this map. Still time, of course, for W7M to rebound in their own regard. And they'll look to do so with another upstairs hold coming up on the 3rd round here.
Yep, they're going to rotate back to the tried and true Armory Archives here on Border. The only site that we have in this entire building, John, that is above a 50% win rate. Everything else dwindling. 49 for 2 of them. I do believe another one's sitting at around like 42%. So this is W7M's best bet statistically to try and pick up a round here in the near future. Herds is going to have ace, though. That's going to be the likes of Dream. On cam, nobody shot the default. We'll see. No. Foxy, not aware either. They're going to know that that detention hole is now there.
Free intel is free.
It is indeed, and that's the best kind of price, John. Free 99. So W7M have in spades currently. Nobody's still checking that cam. He's going to be able to just keep track of Dream this entire time.
Sure, it'll eventually get caught here, but regardless, as I mentioned,
a minute in.
Still no one's noticed it. This thing is sitting up and continuing to feed over a massive amount of intel to the W7M defense. They know exactly where anyone trying to play west main side or in through that jail breach is going to be headed towards. They'll even know now, look.
Oh my goodness.
It's like, cool, the jail player's gone now. You don't have to worry about him if you're roaming around downstairs. He's probably going to repel or try to play main door. This is all so much intel. So many things that W7M now don't have to risk their lives in checking for. And it's going to create a real issue for OXG, as they're going to be wondering why they can't find anyone on W7M.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, it's not just your friend Larry that doesn't know how to shoot default cams. It happens to everybody, okay? Including professional players. OXG going to get lit up just a tad bit there. And although that early info, you know, very useful for W7M, it's really just going to tell them the beginnings of things. But they are looking to end it quickly. Foxy battles back. That's the buck that we saw go through detention earlier, but finally able to get something going here for OXG, but it's really the W7M camp that found themselves finally here on Border, their map pick. This looks like it might be the first successful round of theirs.
JV92 trying to prepare for aggression over at the Archives doorway. Not seeing much of it shown just yet from OXG. OXG trying to figure out what the best path forward still is going to be as they do renegotiate control downstairs by the lobby. And by extension of that, East Main Sweater very low in the process of capturing this, so not going to have a lot of confidence on these peaks as he moves around to try and take 90 control. Still no CCTV steal has been made by the attackers just yet either, so not even really with control over that. Really just going to have to attempt to make things work on the Archives push. Nice spot by Dream. Takes off the immediate counter angle, but there's plenty more waiting in the wings here for W7M. And OXG have considered this. They have some players in position to counteract this. Still going to be a tense plant regardless, however. They now try to work their way into it and justify Dream putting this case down on the ground.
Foxy's going to try and hold the angles from down low, but Julio with a big kill onto Dream. Nobody going through the traditional rotates that Foxy was trying to occupy, but now it's just down to Julio. On site here, he'll be able to down one, but as you know, Foxy's right around the corner! 3 rounds in a row as OXG are able to collect themselves before W7M can send the death nail.
Don't even need the plant when everything is said and done, just brute forcing their way forward. They're able to take it. That's going to trigger a W7M timeout. This is now a 3-0 lead for OXG. The crowd as well. W7M is going to feel that as they know their opponents are waking up, and that's got to be making them shake in their boots a little bit.
A crowd on a team's side is one of the most dangerous things in sports, ladies and gentlemen. If you want OXG to continue in this series, then we gotta have your energy. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise. That was almost perfectly timed for that little
worked well with the
right
replay there. Yeah.
Perfectly timed. But OXG up 3 rounds after such a dominant showcase from W7M on Theme Park as well. You'd think that they wouldn't be fully mentally in it, but they're built for this, John. They're built for the mileage. They're ready for this full best of 3.
Talked about it, the tail end of their game a few days back. Oxygen have come so close to success at both majors and SIs, going all the way back to when this roster used to be known as Reciprocity as well. Even in that aspect, we'd seen them come so close, but had been knocked out in so many unfortunate ways. This is by far the closest they have come to lifting that hammer. And they did not come this way just to mess it up again and lose 0-2 in the upper bracket. They want the rebound. They want that third map. And at the moment, they are barnstorming their way towards it with the 3-0 lead. Let's see, though, as W7M, hopefully an impactful tactical pause, now brings new strategy to bear as they do go downstairs in events for the first time so far in this map to try and finally control their first round.
I mean, what a story we have on our hands here if Oxygen is able to clean up Border as easily as what we saw with W7M on Theme Park. That means Clubhouse would be, I mean, almost unprecedented what we would see at that moment in time. I mean, you could practically throw the script out, set it on fire, whatever you want to do, because Clubhouse definitely not going to play out the same. These teams probably going to be neck and neck, quite aggressive, trying to get those big picks. But you have to get there first. Oxygen still with a lot of work to do. They need 4 rounds to be able to secure things here on Border and send us to that third map.
Slow play, of course, inside of our first 30 seconds. No one rushing directly in. We do get an early EE1D charge off. That's where KZ gives out a bit of intel from his yellow ping there on the Solus as well. Sweater maybe biting off a bit more than he can chew as he tries to go for immediate West control. Pre-fire there is in the correct spot to grab the player over at the window balcony from W7M. Unfortunately, still just behind a solid wall, so none of those shots actually going to end up connecting when he ends up throwing them out there. Nice little replay of what we just saw our attacker go through when he tried to brute force things and quickly learned his lesson, being forced back from that. Still some decent damage having gone both on to Sweater and Herds as well, so he'll have to restrain his aggression slightly to correspond to that lost HP.
Oxygen trying to open up all of the facets to the top floor, make sure they have these angles adopted into their plays so W7M don't have an escape hatch. Other men for Oxygen will begin the work downstairs. Make sure that they can try and find a hole for this plant, and then the line's gonna be going deep here. Dream's gonna begin the plant. Vertical's gonna wrap around and try and prevent anybody from the back of Workshop. A big kill for him. A big stop, though, for the defense as they have Solus upstairs. Makes it so hard to try and get those sneaky plants off nowadays.
Hertz to move forward here with the spray. It goes a little wild, but still able to get back the control and find the trade against Vert. Down to a 3v3 now, but Foxy has plant positioning to go into the site with, oh no! KZ gets tunnel visioned on his ability, hasn't realized that Sweater has already made the entry forward upstairs, takes him down, puts the numbers advantage back in the favor of Oxygen now. That's down to only Volps and Herds. Herds will try to make a play to regain top control, and he'll get it. Maybe not realizing that Sweater still in the area. Nicely timed by Sweater on the repeat. Gets the free shot on Herds. Volps in the meanwhile, though, oh no, Rotero drone nearly ending that round, but it is Bullets that take it instead as OXG continues to dominate flawlessly on map number 2 with a 4th round now.
I mean, what a toxic way to hold up the case. Drop a Rotero on it. Those things fuse time. Feels like centuries. So well done from W7M there as well. Able to at least buffer, bounce back the plant there for just a moment. But Oxygen, they had so much map control at that moment in time as well that was playing into their positioning quite positively. Especially once they were able to get Sweater repositioned on the top floor and deal with the Solus positioning. I mean, that round was as good as gone from W7M. So many positive things there for OXG and 4 rounds to boot.
So is Oxygen to now sit well in the lead, regardless of W7M's efforts throughout the remaining 2 rounds and a half. They feel a lot more comfortable about their position inside of this series. Map 3 starting to look more and more likely here, as W7M shift again to a new site that they have yet to play into here. This one going to be inside of Customs. Completely full rotation. I believe that's going to be all 4 sites at least attempted now by W7M.
So really fun little tidbit about this site. This site's only been played 9 times in this entire tournament. Border's been played 22, just to give you a little bit of insight onto that. Also, this site has only been won 33% of the time, so 3 wins out of 9. This would be the 4th out of 10. W7M can get it. See if they can defend this top floor. This portion that you see JB92, well, that happens to be the most important piece of this entire puzzle when it comes to this site. You really want to hold on to the verticality. If you don't, all of the breaching charges will practically tear your setup to pieces.
Bit of a Hail Mary site selection, maybe coming in here from W7M to just subvert the expectations from Oxygen, throw them off their game a little bit as they'll have attacked this just as little as, of course, they've seen this get played out overall throughout the tournament. So maybe giving W7M a greater capability to mask their own intentions, finally allow that to net them around here. Sweater, though, still in the clear, but Herd's a bit more ready for the challenge this time. Just wins out the duel there with about a third of his HP remaining. Nearly goes for another peek, but that drifts him too close to Newer's own position. He lands the nade right on top of him, finishes off the trade, and locks us down to a 4v4. Foxay with some great control in the waiting room as well. Grabs Volts, and with it, the man advantage.
I mean, what patience out of Foxay. Picture perfect positioning at the bottom of square, dancing around the half walls, giving W7M such a hard time. Never a straightforward gunfight unless they can just click that head. W7M down a man, but still willing to go the full length of this. Go for these aggressive swings. It's a big gunfight, but Newers is better. He's looking for the second. They need to try and help with this. JV92, he almost gets the third. Dream will shut him down. It's a 2 versus 1, but Julio has an opportunity right here at the bottom of metal. Does still have sight control. Who's the case with? It's gonna be with Dream in this scenario. Has to worry about that verticality. No Selma's on Dream, but I do believe they still have that breach just on the other side of this metal detector. Yes, indeed they do. The cross angles will work masterfully here for Oxygen as they begin breaching, charging up the floor. It's gonna be Julio on the rotation here. He's found himself inside of jungle. So silent. Doesn't want to make a peep. All it's gonna take for Oxygen to try and bear down on his location. You can see not too much drone work for Oxygen's side. You see the dead people flipping through those. They want to make sure that there's no big rotation, but there's nothing on site for them to try and garner of Julio. There's no info here. He's been able to fly under the radar. Some potential as he does rotate around, and now Dream with the plant. Foxay on oversight. A big moment here. Can he prevent this? Foxay able to shut it down. Oxygen with 5 perfect rounds so far here on Border.
Oxygen continuing the rebound. Just 2 more rounds to go now. The perfect 6-0 half, potentially even in the cards for them at this point. As W7M one more time change their sight back over into what looks like it's gonna be Tellers. Still a few seconds to change it, but now locked in. To hopefully, just maybe, give the Latin Americans in the crowd some hope as well here. Fans as well. So much effort put forward in map number 1. Like I said, a perfect 7-round streak from them. Now Oxygen looking more and more likely to potentially have that same outcome themselves here, unless W7M wakes up on this final round of the first half.
I have never seen a more energized Foxay in my life, and he is tearing up the server right now. 7-1-0. Everybody knowing his name, fearful of when he takes a swing. Oxygen looking to take this map 7-0, and this obviously coming into the fold here as well for them potentially. Round 6. Be a huge piece here, especially after such a dominant first map from W7M, moving into a map like Clubhouse after you've 7-0'd your opposition. It's gonna be so hard fought for them to try and get in the right headspace before we travel over there. But North America and Brazil, known for their clubhouses. I'm just excited to see it, John.
All right, let's see if they can complete the set or if W7M has at least a little bit of a response to make on the defensive side of things. Sweater already primed to work himself in through passport check. W7M will have quite a bit of resistance mounted in that part of the map, even potentially through the soft breach walls, so Oxygen will have to be careful. That's going to be their first target of control to begin this round with. Nades will also be working their way into Archive. Not really much in the way of targets primed up for that one. But he's going to clear out some room by chucking in the nades inside. Herds as well, nearby, ready to fend off some of the challenges. Being prepositioned by Oxygen over on the east side of the map. Really just seeing that in the form of, I believe, Newers on the rappel currently, though. So it's a light buildup. One that W7M may be able to directly get into the way of. Sweater strikes true yet again, though. This is another player that's had a massive improvement from map 1 to 2. Alongside guys like this, Newers striking true for the second clean kill so far on this round by Oxygen. 2 kills to none so far. We'll take another look at Sweaters on the right side of the screen there as he's able to lock out one just over at the bottom of the east main stairs.
I mean, this is picture-perfect aggression on Border from Oxygen. They're finding the info, they're immediately backing up the play. Past that, they're making sure to occupy these different spaces around the map where they're going to see some more aggressive looks from W7M. Been able to capitalize on those situations as well. Now W7M just trying to get something, trying to squeeze blood from a stone, but they can't get it done. Oxygen constantly able to battle back, but finally KZ able to shut one down. But again, it's constantly Oxygen able to make these huge plays, these huge contributions. The Nitro Cell goes down. I don't think it's going to land properly here, and the plant will successfully go through. Julio to try and stop a flawless half in a 1 versus 3.
Such an awkward Nitro going down there as well. Dream can't even fully lean out to kill it, just has to make a wild dash and hope he doesn't get picked. Thankfully, saved under those circumstances. That the play with the Nitro toss already having gone down. Julio now left alone inside of the 1v3. Nice find to start the clutch, but he's got a long road to recovery here if he wants to at least make this a 1-5 scoreline. Back out over towards the site. Oxygen already in stable post-plant positions. It's going to have to be Julio getting aggressive, and he's already nearly out of time. Just leaps directly onto the counter. Where are we going to see the retake come from here? As indeed, he jumps onto it. Already had hopped off the case. So even if he won that fight, the round still would have been lost. Oxygen complete this perfect comeback now on map number 2. 6-0 in their favor to start out the first half.
And I mean, what a comeback. From a map where they were only able to muster a singular round to not allowing arguably the best team in Siege at this moment in time to not even get a round on border defensively as well. Like, just mind-boggling what Oxygen have been able to produce in this last hour. They're looking to try and tidy up this series here, make it 1-1, 7-0 on border. I'm excited to see what they try and do with their defensive half, because their offense was just so perfect, man. They're able to hold down every single portion of the game plan there from W7M. Even some of the loose aggression coming from them, still able to put a collar on this dog.
The crowd, once again, a lot louder than that first map here. A lot of folks at home, maybe even here, thought that maybe they had been beaten at the end of map number 1 already, but that wasn't the case. They quickly refocused and came back with a vengeance and a half at that. W7M still without a single round after having played out the defensive side, looks to try and gain something here. Oxygen immediately repeating the same site defense they just played on the attacking side. It's down in tellers for this round. Sweater as well lined up for some immediate aggression to potentially be swung out from the inside of security. We'll see if he's able to capture anything from it, but at the same time, the Argus cams, W7M making a smart choice here to bring Zero into the fold on this round. Already having found out Sweater's positions, that will prompt a bit more hesitance on his part. We already are about 30 seconds deep into the action phase.
And I mean, speaking of Sweater as well, he's been on an absolute tear for the main stage. The group stage befuddling him every once in a while, kind of starting off on the wrong foot, but able to bounce back in a considerable way. Even here, 10-3-3. Before the series started, only -7 on his KD spread, so well within his right to finally enter positivity. Looks like he's going to be positive on round count here soon as well, as they're looking to take this flawless. Julio looking for the angle with the glass, but it doesn't exist. They haven't opened this up fully. He's waiting for that little tight-knit angle just down to the left. See if somebody will slip through that. It's going to be Newers on the opposite end. W7M trying to build this up for their first round, but they've already lost a key portion of this. JV92 will go down.
Newers as well lined up for success, and he's going to capture it. Volps walks right into his setup, none the wiser to it. Even a free pickup for the defense once more. Already 2 down. KZ potentially in a winner's position here to try and rotate out some of the upstairs presence, but you'll have noticed Oxygen already giving most of that up. Perds to walk in. It's a messy sprace. We will be revealed here as he tries to take out the clone from upstairs. Succeeds in that at the minimum here, but Julio, the spins from Sweater. He's not giving him a shot, nearly a 360 shot against him. Instead, the drone hole, potentially saving Herds' own execute, but even he can't lock down the kill. Julio finally grabs it. Sweater can't run forever, it seems, but Newers has the other side of the scope, shoots him through the glass, knocks him down, and puts Oxygen once again in pole position here as it's down to a 4v2, and W7M only have 40 seconds left. A spot, though, from Herds brings them back into it as he locks in the headshot against Foxay and the nade to hold back the rotations. Herds, he's got to look back to that Foxay position from a moment ago. Dream realized he's already got eyes on it. Dream backs up. OXG may not have locked this one down just yet, as they're a little scared to fend off the pressure, but at the same time, Julio needs to get himself into the site to start putting this case down.
Only a Sam Cam to try and help Herds here. He'll get one, but he still has a long road to go. The case on the ground, Dream and Vertical, they'll shut it down. Oxygen with a perfect 7-0 on Border.
Dropped the first map 1-7, but comes back with something even better than that. A perfect map to take us to our third and final map of the series and determine the first grand finalists of the Six Invitational 2023.
What a disgusting series between these two teams right now. The opposition for both of them only able to drop one round and then 0 for the second map. Absolutely ludicrous. A 7-1 on Theme Park in favor of W7M.